Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Victoria Hill, sitting in for Asia Gore, who is on assignment. Closing arguments are underway in the murder trial against a 20-year-old Busby man who is accused of burning a woman alive. During testimony Wednesday in U.S. District Court in Billings, a pair of psychiatrists squared off about the suspect's mental capacity. The doctor called by defense attorneys described Marcio Sanchez as severely impaired, saying he suffers the effects of fetal alcohol syndrome. Through testing, the doctor said she determined Sanchez as a follower and not a leader. Defense attorneys used this testimony to further their claims that Sanchez was too incompetent to carry out the brutal assault on Royland Wright's horse. Prosecutors then called their own doctor, who testified that Sanchez was exaggerating his mental disability by intentionally failing tests. This doctor said Sanchez performed worse on the tests than people with brain injuries or dementia. Prosecutors say Sanchez led his two co-defendants in the assault on Wright's horse and say it was Sanchez who doused the victim in gasoline and set her on fire. The case is expected to go to the jury shortly for deliberations. Meanwhile, in western Montana, police have released the names and mugshots of the women involved in a Lake County shooting and pursuit. They are 27-year-old Rochelle St. Dennis, who has a Missoula address but is also on felony probation out of Billings for robbery and assault with a weapon. The other suspect is 34-year-old Alta Little Light Three Fingers of Crow Agency. Apparently, the vehicle the women were driving during the pursuit was stolen from Billings on November 14th. The chase began around 11:30 Wednesday morning in a Missoula neighborhood when police attempted to pull over a black Ford Taurus that was driving recklessly. Speeds reportedly reached 90 miles per hour, and the pursuit ultimately led law enforcement down Eagle Pass Trail north of St. Ignatius. According to Lake County Sheriff Don Bell, St. Dennis fired shots at pursuing officers. They believe that Little Light Three Fingers was also armed. When the vehicle stopped, Bell says shots were fired by law enforcement and the two women surrendered. They were taken into custody and are being held at the Lake County Jail. No injuries were reported and an investigation is underway. Now we go to Sanders County, where the sheriff's office has released the names of the three people involved in a shooting that killed two and injured one in late November. Deputies were called to a residence on Hope Valley Road on November 25th for reports that two people had been shot. Sheriff Tom Rummel says that 64-year-old William Tyree was found dead on the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and is suspected to have shot and killed an adult female whose name will not be released. 83-year-old Charles Moore was shot in the shoulder and was transported to St. Patrick Hospital in Missoula, but is expected to recover. Rummel says a heated argument between Tyree and Moore led to the shootings. In Butte, an investigation is underway after a 76-year-old man died after being struck by a vehicle. Law enforcement reports that a Butte man was struck Wednesday morning while walking west in the parking lane along the 2900 block of Amherst Avenue. The man was transported to St. James Healthcare in Butte and then to St. Patrick Hospital in Missoula, where he died from his injuries. The motorist who struck the man remained at the scene after the accident. Butte police, along with the Montana Highway Patrol and Division of Criminal Investigation, are conducting the investigation. Police have not released the name of the victim. Well, as wildfires in Southern California burn out of control, more than 50 Montana firefighters are headed there to lend a hand. Columbus is sending 3 firefighters and an engine. From northwestern Montana, crews from Evergreen are also heading to California. About 55 Montana firefighters and 16 engines will offer mutual aid. Some of the Montana firefighters will work together, while others will join forces with crews from other states who are also responding to the request for additional help. Well, Ed, it is breezy here in parts of Montana, but looks like California has it pretty bad as well. That's right. A lot of strong winds, and the same thing that's affecting their weather is also affecting ours and will as we start heading into the weekend. The orange shaded areas show where we have a high pressure ridge moving in with a strong upper level jet moving across the area. So where you see the oranges and the yellows, it means that we're going to have high pressure and warmer temperatures building in. And it looks like that will settle in all the way into early next week, maybe even to about midweek, Tuesday
Tuesday or Wednesday. But there are some indications right now that that system could back off again as colder air comes down from Canada. It could have some influence on our weather by the time we start looking in towards about this time next week. We'll take a closer look at forecast details coming up.
Thank you, Ed. After Great Falls area residents voiced concerns over the proposed Madison food park, organizers say those issues will be addressed. Friesen Foods LLC proposed a plan to build on around 3,000 acres of land nearly 8 miles southeast of Great Falls. Todd Hansen with Norseman Consulting Group says Friesen Foods is working on an amended plan that will be filed by the end of 2017 and will address many of the concerns being raised by area citizens.
In the amended special use permit application, the information related to water use and the initial projections of acre feet and per gallon use per day and then on an annual basis for the Madison Food Park campus will be significantly refined.
Hansen says Cascade County will hold a public hearing after the updated application is filed. In Billings, owners of Big Bear Sports say they will not reopen the store for the current holiday shopping season. That message was posted on the store's Facebook page Wednesday. The announcement comes just a little over a month since a man drove a vehicle through the front entrance of the store, leading to a 10-hour armed standoff with Billings police that ended when the man was fatally shot by officers. The post from owners Brett and Bobby Taylor says after analyzing everything from construction to replacing inventory, they will not be able to have everything together and complete in time to open this month. The Taylors also expressed their gratitude for the support they have received from the Billings community and say they plan to continue to work hard and push forward. In other business news, a staple in Three Forks and many other towns across Montana, Wheat Montana has announced a new partnership with Walmart. The Montana-based company was chosen by the superstore to be part of a tour that has committed Walmart to purchase an additional $250 billion in American-made products. While the initiative will add more Wheat Montana products to Walmart shelves, it will also create more jobs. Elsewhere, employees at the Montana Secretary of State's office got hands-on training in case they ever encounter an active shooter. Instructors from the Montana Highway Patrol and Helena Police conducted 2 days of training at the Capitol. Employees learned how to get away from an attacker, secure themselves in a room, and fight back if necessary. On Wednesday, they practiced skills like barricading doors and disarming attackers. Corey Stapleton says it's important to prepare for violent incidents just like you would for a natural disaster. Stapleton says his office is the first in the state capitol to hold this type of training.